My name is Prabhat, founder at Online Seller UK, and we've been doing this series of podcasts for some time to help Amazon sellers sell better online. So I've got Chris from Paxos Direct with me today, and we'll be talking about smarter use of imagery for your listings. Welcome to our podcast, Chris.
Hi, Prabhat. Thank you for inviting me today.
Excellent. So, Chris, why don't you introduce yourself and what your company does?
Yeah, so I'm the director of Paxos Direct. Just to give you a little bit of background, my background is very similar to a lot of Amazon sellers I meet. I'm not an Amazon seller at all. That would be a conflict of interest because you send me your products. But after 20 years in working for somebody else in multinationals in marketing roles, I really wanted to, like most of you guys, do something for myself and started my own photography business. Photography was always a hobby for me. And I realized that there were lots and lots of really good creative photographers out there, but not many had a marketing background or a business background and didn't really know about delivering on brief, on time, on budget. They could create a nice image, but that's where it stopped. So in short, 12 years ago, I started a company called Unique Capture. It's still running and exists today. And that's our premium brand where we work with major creative agencies and brands. So if in our studio today, we're shooting goo desserts. So that's always lovely because we get to taste the food afterwards. We've got Ronaldo's perfume, his Newton perfume aftershave in one of the other studios and Colin Mason salt and pepper pots. So no 2 days are the same. It's very, very different. But that was 12 years ago, and we're still doing that now. But 7 years ago, we started to get approached by the first Amazon sellers, or some of the first Amazon sellers, and they were saying, look, we need to see some white background pictures. And at that time, going to get to a photographer was a bit like going to a plumber. You know, he scratches his beard and says, I'm not really sure how much that's going to be. And I saw the opportunity for fixed price photography packages. So, you know, you guys need 10 images or 7 images. And we said, right, this is a fixed price. And we made it a very automated kind of system. And since then we've grown and grown and grown. And if we fast forward 7 years, well, initially I was very lucky. This is how early it was in that I actually started the company as Amazon Photography Limited, and I own the domain name amazonphotography.co.uk. But you can imagine how that went. I got a lovely letter from the lawyers at Amazon to say we might be suing you. So I had to quickly rebrand, and because my pockets weren't deep enough to fight it, so we became Paxos Direct, and now we're delivering not just photos but videos, CGI, infographics, and everything you lovely people need to help convert more browsers into buyers.
Yeah, excellent. So before we started recording, we were talking about this imagery and photographs, right? So you mentioned it's not photos anymore, what people want. So do you want to talk a little bit more on that?
Yeah, the world's moved on. I mean, if you and Amazon just moves so quickly, and I guess one of the biggest challenges, if you look back 7 years, it was just white shots. A lot of people would even take them on their iPhone. Then there was lifestyle photos, and we've got room sets in the studio. So we'd take the wide shots and then we'd take the room sets. Then we needed to provide models. So now we put models in the room set, or a baby or a dog or whatever it is you may need. And now I employ as many graphic designers as I do photographers and videographers, because almost every listing has infographics and things like that on it in order to get your features and benefits better across to the clients. If we look back as an example, 10 years ago, I was working with Hoover doing their photographs with their vacuum cleaners and working with Argos. And even back then, Argos realized that if you put a picture of one vacuum cleaner next to another vacuum cleaner, and one had 7 icons next to it and the other had 8 icons next to it, people would buy the one with 8 icons because in our little heads, we think the one with 8 is clearly better than the other one. So the world is, Amazon's caught up and Amazon sellers are caught up, and we're all doing it now. And so we've actually had to re-educate our photographers to shoot in a different way so that we actually leave space for the graphics and the icons and the design, because typically a photographer wants to fill the frame and make the product look as lovely as possible. But now if you need to put dimensions on, analysis, competitor analysis, or key feature icons, we need to actually have that included in the design when we're actually taking the photo. So yeah, the world has really moved on so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, as you talk about infographics, I think perhaps people look at the titles and the imagery, and
Yeah.
they may not go down because they've got everything in the top of the search there on the product page as well. So, okay, so specifically when people browse our website, so what should we consider, or what should we doing to convert those browsers into actual buyers on Amazon?
Okay. I'm sure you'll hear this from lots and lots of different aspects of outsourced companies that you work with, whether it be your copy or for us, your imagery. The first most important one is you really must know your client and your target audience. So many times clients come to us and they say, well, everybody can buy it. Well, that's amazing. Everybody can buy it, but people buy with their eyes. So whatever is in your image needs to really resonate and lock on to that person that's viewing that image to say, yeah, that's the product that I want to click through first, and then ultimately purchase. And it's small things that you wouldn't necessarily think about. So it's what's in, if it's in a room set, what's in the room? What are the colors? How is it styled? What sort of person have you got in there? There's no point in having a 40-year-old male, if really your target audience is 16-year-old girls or something like that. It really, really needs to be very, very well thought out ahead of time. And a lot of sellers will just send us their product and they will trust the photographer or the videographer to actually do your marketing for you. It's your brand. It's your money that you've invested. It is so critical to narrow it down and agree that in a brief with your agency upfront so that you do convert more browsers into buyers.
Absolutely. So, so with that in mind, so when you actually go through the procedure, so I'm assuming you ask all these questions
Yeah,
to a potential
so
client.
if you work with Packshots Direct and there is a free briefing template, so even if you want to work with somebody else, you're more than happy to contact us and we'll send you the free template, because you really, really need to make sure that you've considered all of those aspects up front. And because of our marketing background, we help you through that process. But don't let the photographer just come up with it for you. They don't know your features and benefits. We research your competitors for you, but at the same time, you may want to take your product down a slightly different route. So the first thing is you send us your product. We then have a call with you and we go through how you're positioning it, where you believe it should be versus your competitors. And then we put down in a contract almost what you will get on a per shot or per video or per scene basis, so that there are no surprises. And that is absolutely critical to success.
Yeah, excellent. So, and in some situations, it can be not a different angles of the product. Some situation we need like installation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about windows blinds, for instance, because this is more realistic to me. Because I've been working with windows blinds and
Yes.
curtain poles. So, and on the it's a little bit complicated. Well, for me anyway. It may not be for you. How can we help? How can you help with that? Because it needs installation. We need to show installation of different steps and all that sort of thing. So, in your opinion, with products like that, how do you handle the photography and video?
So blinds are a perfect example. There are so many different features that need to get across, but also one of the key bits is about reducing returns, because maybe they put the blinds up wrong, they've damaged them, they're not using them correctly. And this is where product videos really, really do help you increase your profitability, because the videos not only can be used as, in the paid advertising, they can be used on your listing, but also they help reduce returns. And so you can look back at your listing. Most of the sellers that we deal with have already got listings that have been live for a year or so. And you can look back at some of the feedback, you can look back at your return reports and find out, and you can address within your imagery and address within your videos some of those things before they actually happen, so that you reduce your returns and increase your profitability at the same time as selling. So if anybody's not using video right now, it really is a must for improving your profitability. I know it's a cost up front, but do it with one SKU, test it. We know it works because then people come back and then they apply it across their other SKUs. And it doesn't actually need to be as complicated as you may think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the use of video is certainly it's going up, I think, for all the products as well. So, okay, so if we look at some of the elements that as a seller we need to consider for either implementing videos or photos, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I firstly, scrutinize your images. Go back. If you've got images live, you need to stand out from your competitors. And you may have stood out from your competitors when you first put your images up, but we get so many clients that say, I want images just like those ones, because that's the best seller. And it's really flattering. Sometimes they're our own images that have been sent back to us, and we've shot the 5th weighted blanket this month, for example, and they say, I want them just like that. But that's not going to help you stand out. You may have stood out initially, and lots of people have copied you. So now you need to maybe move the bar again and look at what is going to make you head and shoulders above everybody else. Everybody has reasonable images now. Now you've got to take it to the next level to be successful. So that's number one. Go back and take a look at what you've got. Is it still working for you as hard as possible? The other one is definitely, as I said, use infographics. If you're not using infographics, you really are leaving money on the table. And then thirdly, use video. The other thing in terms of cost, you may also want to consider CGI as an option. I'll give you an example. So we were shooting bedding, and it's just not cost effective to go around lots of different bedroom sets and film. So what we did is we put the mattress and the bedding on some planks in our studio. We filmed it with exactly the same lighting as the CGI rooms that we set up, or the stock images, and then we put the two together in post-production. The key to that, though, is having those room sets or the stock images first, because if you try and put a round peg in a square hole with wrong camera angles and wrong lighting, then, the light's coming through that way and the window's over there, it just, in your head, it just looks odd. But that can be so much more of a cost-effective way of doing it.
I'm sorry, I've got to ask, what's CGI?
CGI, so that's where we render the product. It doesn't exist. So literally, we'll create it with digital crayons inside the computer. So the whole room set is fake, but you would never know.
Oh wow! Okay, that's something new. I knew today. That's good.
Talking of new things, with our business with Unique Capture, we're now trialing augmented reality. So for JD Sports, for example, we're testing their trainers. And so that the trainers, when you go onto their website, you could potentially scan a barcode, then the trainers just pop up on the end of your feet or in your room, and you can move it around and see it. I'm sure that this is going to be coming to Amazon soon. And so we're already looking at things like that for the future. I know more cost for you, so.
Well, I'm sure, a lot of people are going to be interested in this augmented reality stuff. So that's the future, I would have thought.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So I think we come to an end. So that's a really good conversation, Chris, and thank you for your time today. So if somebody is to look for you, want to find you and talk to you, where's the best place to go to?
Okay, so our website, I'm sorry, is desperately in need of an update. Just like you guys, things move on so quickly. But if you'd like a free briefing template, to discuss anything with any of our team, or to see some of our special discounted packages that we've put for the Online Seller UK members, then please just email us at studio@packshotsdirect.com. or give us a call. We're based in Milton Keynes, but you can be anywhere in the world. Our telephone number is 01908 227 666.
Thank you very much, Chris, for your time. Speak to you soon. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.